5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is About Space, America's return to space, with news and information on our U.S. space program. Is your host of About Space, David Denault.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Well, you might remember a couple of weeks ago, I did a program on space tourism. Well, just this week, Virgin Galactic, the space tourism firm that hopes to send its first customers to space next year, unveiled a new spacecraft design. The sleek new space plane has a reflective coating that the company calls mirror-like, and says it will add to space tourist experience. Virgin Galactic says it has about 600 customers so far, and the company is expecting to reopen ticket sales soon. Well, new tickets, however, are expected to be priced higher than $250,000, which is already more than the median home price in the United States. About Space will return with First in Flight on Mars next. Are you ready to fly away on a dream vacation? For cruises and all-inclusive resort vacations, call D&D Cruise and Tours at 877-747-8631. That's 877-747-8631. And see us on Facebook, D&D Cruise and Tours, where your dreams become a reality. Welcome back. In the next day or two, Ingenuity, a small helicopter, will make universal history. It will be first in flight on Mars. And the person who's been closely following the events on Mars is Dawn Meyer, our Space Coast news editor.
The Ingenuity helicopter traveled from Earth to Mars, neatly tucked away in the belly of the Perseverance rover. The Ingenuity helicopter traveled from Earth to Mars, neatly tucked away in the belly of the Perseverance rover. Now the Ingenuity has been safely removed from the rover and deposited onto the surface of Mars. It is time to perform its first flight, the first powered flight on another planet. Here is Hovard Grip, the Ingenuity chief pilot, to tell us the details of that first flight.
I want to talk a little bit about our first flight and what that's going to look like starting from this airfield that we've picked here. So first of all, the first flight is special. It's by far the most important flight that we plan to do. It'll be the first powered flight by an aircraft on another planet. And we've, in fact, met most of our goals for this project just by getting to the point where we are right now. And we'll declare complete mission success if we do this first flight that we're going to attempt. Now, the flight itself will consist of a takeoff and then a climb to an altitude of 3 meters. And then we will hover in place for about 30 seconds and make a turn with the helicopter while we're hovering, and then come down and land again. Now, when the helicopter goes to fly like this, a few hours ago, it's already received instructions from us on Earth that describes exactly what that flight should look like. The detailed trajectory that it's going to follow, how fast it's going to follow that trajectory, where and when it's going to turn, when it's going to take picture, etc. So it knows at that point exactly what we would like it to do. But it has to work very hard during the flight itself in order to make that happen. In particular, it takes images of the ground below it at a rate of 30 images per second and analyzes those in order to track the features on the ground to see how it is moving across the ground. And it combines that with other sensor measurements in order to make tiny adjustments to the controls, 500 times per second, to stay exactly on the trajectory that we've prescribed for it, and to fight off disturbances that tries to take it away from that trajectory, like winds and gusts.
Ingenuity has the ability to fly for 90 seconds. It can fly for distances of almost 980 feet, or 300 meters at a time, and about 10 to 15 feet above the ground. Ingenuity flies on its own without human control due to the delay in communications between Earth and Mars. And as Hovard said, it must take off, fly, and land using minimal commands that are sent in advance from Earth. Once Ingenuity begins flying, The test flights will go on for 31 days, known as the month of Ingenuity. From Florida's Space Coast, this is Dawn Meyer for About Space Today.
The first in-flight on Mars may take place in the next few days. NASA says no earlier than April 11. And be sure to have your family and friends listen each Tuesday with me on About Space Today, and on Fridays, America in Space with Rick Potluck from our Washington Bureau. And follow us on Facebook at aboutspace.today for space news updates. And our Tuesday shout-out goes to Australia, with its many listeners there. And to all of our friends and listeners around the globe and in the U.S., thank you for listening. I'm David Denault, and this has been About Space Today.